Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's podcast episode. Thank you so much for checking it out. If you're watching or listening or however it is you're consuming it, just thank you so much for being here. Today, I want to talk about something really important that I think is not covered enough, and that is talking about creative and artist burnout. Now, when I say creative burnout, it's very easy to think of it in a way of writing too much music, performing too many gigs, and feeling that burnout from there. But actually, what I mean is, yes, you're doing this, but also you're expected to be making all of this content all of the time when we're told on social media that that's the way to go. And, it is when we're looking at top of funnel, when we're trying to bring new fans in, it is really important. But what's also important is creating music. So when we're creating music, and then in between creating music, we're having to come up with creative content ideas to get that music heard, we never stop creating. And that can be wild. It can send our brains into overdrive. You're always trying to think creatively. And sometimes you need to switch off, and it's really hard to be able to switch off, especially when you're doing something that you are incredibly passionate about, which I imagine you are. That's why you're doing this. That's why any of us are doing this, because especially at the start and even kind of towards the middle parts, we're not making loads of money here. It's not one of those things that's really motivated by money. And yes, we would love money to fund what we do so we can do this full time and quit our jobs, and that would be amazing, right? But that's just not the reality at the minute. The reality is you've got to be switched on, you've got to be creating, and you're doing that because you love it. You love making music, you love going to shows and performing, yet we're being told that everything that should be taking over is the content. And so I want to give you a bit of an idea as to how you can escape this creative burnout in terms of just taking a bit of time away, but also how you can adapt to do what you need to do without burning yourself out. I think what's really important is to make sure you're giving yourself like a day a week to just have a bit of a rest, have a bit of a reset. Go and watch a film, listen to a few podcasts that you like, or just have a nice walk. If you've got a dog, even better, you can go outside, get a bit of fresh air, walk the dog. But sometimes, it's just nice to be able to have a bit of a reset. And I think it's more important than what we let on, because if you're not looking after yourself, and if you're not doing things to just try and have a bit of a rest from it, then the rest of the time, you're just going to be in a constant state of burning out, and you're not going to be able to show up as much as you want to show up. And all that's going to happen is you're going to end up in this vicious cycle where you're not showing up as much as you want to show up. So you're getting really down about it, and you're trying to force creativity out of you. You're trying to force music, or you're trying to force content out of you, and it just doesn't work. So just give yourself a day, a week where you go, and Sunday's a really good day for this because it's, you're off work. In theory, most of you are off work at least, and you get that time to have a bit of a reset. And sometimes films, podcasts, TV, they can be good to absorb them because it can reset some creativity in you, like some of my favorite people that I love listening to really inspire me and really give me that pep ready for the next day or the next week. And that's what it's all about. It's about looking after yourself, getting yourself pepped up again, and also just making sure you rest and you just calm and take the pressure off. Because TikTok or whatever social media app that you are focusing on the most, or all of them, they're all still going to be there the next day. Just because you haven't posted on one day, it's still going to be there. Especially now in the age that we're in, when you can have 3 followers. And if you make the best bit of content, it can go out to like millions of people, So it's still there. Just because you miss a day or you miss the cycle that you're doing, if you're doing once every 3 days and you miss that 3rd day, it's okay. It's still going to be there when you get back. It's not going anywhere. The other thing to remember when you are trying to come up with content and trying to get a load of stuff posted, get as much out there as you can, and I've really been learning this over the past few weeks, is when you're putting stuff out, just remember, if it doesn't work, you've learned something. You've learned that there's something about that video that doesn't work, and that's great, because then you can move on and you can go on to the next thing and try another thing. If your video gets like 200, 250 views one day and you're stuck there, again, I've covered this before, but let's just remember 200 to 250 people is fucking awesome. Like, that's really cool. Like, that you have that many people that your stuff is reaching. But obviously in this day and age, we're not happy with that because we're told we're stuck in a jail, or the content's really bad because it's only reaching that many people. But just remember, your next bit, your next content, your next video, whatever it is, could fly. And it might not. And that's okay, because all this is we're learning. So when you're trying to be creative, just take that pressure off. Because what is bad for creativity is you having in your head going, I want to be creative, but this has to be the best thing we've ever made. I have to have the exact right hook. I have to keep people's attention. And all of a sudden, that creativity's gone. It's like making music with a bunch of rules over it. And none of us like that. Like, that's not creativity. That is being confined in this stuff. And you'll find that by taking the pressure off of yourself and allowing your mind to relax, that the content you're bringing out is way more creative and may even start doing better because you're taking the pressure off. Because like I said, if a bit of content flops, it's not the end of the world. You can just post again tomorrow or the next day or whenever it is you want to post again and see how that does. As long as you're constantly moving along and learning and not just doing the same thing all the time that you know doesn't work, then it doesn't matter. And you know what? If you're happy with lower views and you're putting out the stuff that like creatively satisfies you, that is also important as well, because that will resonate with people. So the main message here today is just remember to just allow yourself a bit of breathing space, a bit of time, because you are a musician. You have creative energy, you have creative juices flowing through your brain, and all you're doing by putting the pressure on how many views you need to get on a bit of content or a video or a song or whatever it is, all you're doing is putting rules and restrictions in place on your creative energy, and you're restricting that. And it's something we all need when we are creative people and we're trying to make it in a creative industry. Let's not forget that main word of creative, because we need that in our lives. It's why we do this in the first place. I really hope that helps someone today. Thank you so much for watching or listening to this podcast. You can find my Patreon. It's free to join, and I give daily like deep dive tips, advice, tricks, all on there for free, Monday to Friday. The videos are like 10-15 minutes long. There's a lot to absorb, and I hope I give a lot of information in there that will hopefully help you all. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, listening, however you're absorbing this today, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day.